Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to the Inspiring School Counselors podcast, brought to you several times each month by our little nonprofit called Inspire Success. My name is Matt Fleck, but it's my colleague in crime, Amy Porteous, who you hear every week, who finds and talks with inspiring school counselors from around the country. This week, Amy talks with Bernard Starks, a relatively new school counselor working in Illinois, who started out at the high school level, then moved to the middle school this year, and who, despite the challenges, tells us he loves his work.
I really enjoy it a lot. This is actually my second career. Before I worked in the school counseling setting, I actually used to work in state government, and I used to work in the unemployment agency in Michigan. So it is a huge difference compared to, working in government and going to schools.
No, but I'd imagine you had a skill set that you brought to the school counseling world then that is unique. Yeah.
Yes. I did a lot of customer service. And, one of the things that I learned is the customer is always right. And I kind of brought that customer service aspect to the school counseling aspect because of the fact that, to me, that's going to best help our kids. And it's also going to best help the parents, help the staff, and just help others.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I'm going to say that you're probably not telling me that middle schoolers are always right, though, right? I know that's
middle schoolers are not always right.
They're not always right.
They think they're always right, but they are not always right. Even when they try to tell me that they're right about something, then I pull up something called Google and something called facts, and then I show them that they're wrong.
That's right. That's right. But in a loving, caring customer service sort of way.
Absolutely. I don't make them feel bad after they leave my office. No.
That's good. So speaking of relationships, do you have any stories or two of your most memorable experiences as a school counselor?
Yes, I do. I have a short one and a long one. Sorry, I'm doing this to you.
You may do whatever you choose. Yes.
So when I started working in a middle school setting, I worked with a sixth grader. And at the time, by the way, I got this position in the middle of the COVID pandemic. So I didn't meet the kids physically. I was meeting them online on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And there was a student in particular who was a sixth grader at the time, and they were going through a lot of things. They were, they lost loved ones, and it was just a lot of stuff, like the transition from a more in-person school environment to a Zoom COVID environment was really tough on that student as well. And so I built that relationship with that student. But over time, I found out that the student loved to bake, and I love to bake. I found out that the student loved to do certain things, and I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. So in Thanksgiving, the student, the sixth grade teachers at the time were like, hey, we're going to do a video on who you're thankful for. Yeah. And the student popped up, and the first thing was, I'm grateful for Mr. Starks. And I cried. I was just so touched by what that student said. And, as a sixth grader, walking in their shoes, I would have been like, well, I'm thankful for my mom, or I'm thankful for my dog or my cat. But for a sixth grader to go, I'm thankful for Mr. Starks. Yeah. Like a counselor that I've never really met in person, just blew me away. Yes. And then the shorter story is, so I have a beard, and this was in elementary school because at one point I was a paraprofessional. Mm-hmm. I grew my beard, and a student looked at me and said, when they saw my beard, and they said, no. I looked at the student and I go, no. And she goes, and once again, built a relationship with this kid. And they go, no, I hate it. Shave it off. And I was just like, okay, no. Sorry, not going to,
Oh, Bernard, I thought you were going to tell me that you shaved your beard for her.
No, I kept it.
That's good. Well, that's great. I'm glad you have those touching stories. And I'm sure you could tell that your first one made me cry as well. I just love that. I don't think we really realize the impact we have on kids, and just having that one caring adult who takes the time to learn that they like to bake.
Yes.
So really great. That's really great. But I would assume, like everyone else, that there are struggles you face in your career. Is that true?
Yes, that is very true.
So tell me a little bit about some of the struggles you face and how do you persevere through them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I can tell you, as you know, working as a counselor, there is a lot of places you have to be. What I do, and this is something I've been doing over the past few years, is I've been doing some breathing techniques, which has been helping me kind of slow myself down and just kind of settle in and just say, okay, I have this going on, I have this going on, and I have these things going on. So there's been times where I've been very overwhelmed and it's been very stressful. So I have done breathing techniques to just sort of like settle myself down. Mm-hmm. I'll go in my office for like a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, sure, and then realize, okay, what's most important that I need to deal with right now? And we'll just kind of go from there.
And have you been able to model that for students who are struggling with anxiety as well?
Yes, absolutely. I have definitely used that with students. I have had students come into my office just really stressed out over grades and just tell them, let's take some deep breaths first. Sure. And then let's discuss your grades one by one. Let's figure out what missing assignments there are. Let's figure out what can we do to help bring up those grades. So absolutely. Sure. That's
excellent. Hey, and so we like to, I kind of prepared you for this. We like to end our segments with some rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you a few brief questions and I want you to give me your first thought. You don't have to think about it too hard, okay?
I'll try not to.
All right, here we go. What song or activity helps you deprocess after a long day?
Photography.
Photography? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you go out and just like take pictures of nature or?
I take pictures of nature. I'm trying to focus more on people photography. I actually shot my first wedding this year. Yes.
I like that. What's the best book you've read in the last year?
Oh my goodness. I do a lot of reading on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I got to look it up right now. I am so sorry. Okay. The Mr. Rogers Effect.
The Mr. Rogers Effect.
Mr. Rogers Effect by Anita Knight. Oh my gosh. By Anita Knight Coonley. I think I said that last name right.
Excellent. I've not heard of that one. We'll have to keep that in mind.
Yes.
What's the funniest quote or oddest thing a student has ever said to you? Besides,
other than, no, I don't like your beard.
Yeah, other than that.
I think the oddest thing a student has ever told me, and I'm just going to be honest with you, is when I was in a high school setting, a student said that men can get pregnant. And I had to correct him and say, no, that's not true.
Did you have to use Google to show that to him?
I had to get facts, yes, and show him that was honestly wrong. And not only did I have to do Google, I had to do really pull medical information on Google to really prove to him that's not true.
He's going to go to med school. I know he is. So what's the most unusual or unique item in your office right now?
Okay. I currently have, I love Peanuts, the cartoon. And I bought over the weekend a Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Aw.
So that is the most unique thing in my office.
I like it. That's great. And we've already spoken about other jobs besides school counseling, but what's the most unique job you've ever had other than school counseling?
When I was in high school, I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was the Chuck E. Cheese mouse. And then to top it off, when I was in high school, I also was McGruff the Crime Dog. And I did this for the community that I used to live in. It was a suburb of Detroit. And they were doing a dare or sad or just something like that. I don't remember. But they asked me to be McGruff the Crime Dog. And I remember I had to wear the costume and there was a little fan in the head to keep me cool. Yes.
You definitely have won the most unique job I've heard about today. McGruff the Crime Dog. Okay, well, it's good to know. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this. And
no, Amy, thank you so much for
it's been a pleasure.
Me. Yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing and just speaking with school counselors and just being able for us to share our stories and the things that we do with the students here. So thank you so much.
We are very honored.
Hey, thanks, Bernard, for being our guest this week. And sincere thanks to each of you for tuning us in on a regular basis. We're taking some time off for winter break, like hopefully you are. So here's our sincere wish for a happy, relaxing, and rejuvenating holiday for all of you.